Welcome friends. We are starting with service sector costing today. Uh, the topic is little different, but then ultimately it is related to cost calculation only. Now, just like a product which is tangible, your services which are intangible also need some selling price to be decided. Of course, we don't call it as selling price, we call it as ticket charges, revenue, takings, fees, gross receipts, collection. But these are different names to be written for you and me. Ultimately, it is cost plus profit only, no? So for us, it is going to be a selling price only. So in this topic, we are going to see how cost per ton kilometer, how cost per room days will be calculated. Yes, friends, that is the only different point in service sector, which differentiates service costing from product costing. There can be two composite variables. In case of product, it is only per unit, per ton, per kg, per meter, per liter. But in case of passenger transport, you need to know how much you are supposed to charge to one passenger for 1 kilometer. In case of goods transport, you need to know how much you are supposed to charge to each ton for 1 kilometer. If you are running a hospital, you should know how much you are supposed to charge to a patient on per patient per day basis. And if you are going for a hotel room, you will charge your client on the basis of per room per day basis. If it is a theater, it is a per person per show. So basically, two different bases are to be used when it comes to a selling price determination and cost determination in case of a service sector. So guys, how do we go about it? How do we manage? How do we manage this? Well, calculation is very simple. How do you calculate cost per ton? Total cost divided by total tons. How do you calculate cost per unit? Total cost divided by total units. How do you calculate cost per kg? Total cost divided by cost total kgs. How do you calculate cost per liter? Total cost divided by total liters. So if we want to know cost per passenger kilometer, your total cost should be divided by total passenger kilometers. So take passengers, take kilometers, multiply, get the answer. Finished. If you want per ton per kilometer, then take total ton kilometers, completed. If you want per person per show, take total people, total persons multiplied by total shows. That will be the base, not 100, but that will be considered as a base. If you want per room per day charge, take total room days. So number of rooms into number of days, number of passengers into number of kilometers, number of tons into number of kilometers is the only thing which is required to be studied here. And of course, there is a shortcut. There is a simple fundamental to be followed for that. This is the only point where students generally go wrong. They can easily calculate total cost structure. Now, if it is on monthly basis, your numerator denominator both should be on monthly basis. If it is on annual basis, both should be on annual basis. Always remember this. So you somehow you get the revenue, you get the cost, you add profit, you decide revenue. Students generally go wrong in passenger kilometers, ton kilometers calculation. I'll tell you how to calculate it in a simple manner. So I'm giving you a simple shortcut, a simple skeleton. Skeleton, when I say, it means a simple structure. Take this and apply this to any question. You will be getting passenger kilometer calculation done. Kilometers into passengers, into trips, into bus, into days, into months. Just simply remember this and keep on going for fill in the blanks application. Instead of kilometers, you may get miles. Instead of passengers, you may get tons. Instead of bus, you may get truck or vehicle. That doesn't matter. Okay, if it is on monthly basis, then apply by 30 days. If it is on an annual basis, into 30 or 25, whatever they say per month, into 12 months. for 6 months. If they ask, multiply by 6 months. That is, see, this part is subjective. This will be decided by the question. This is what you are supposed to do. Kilometers into passengers into trips into bus into days into months. Your work is done. So let me begin with the first question. This was a question of a school bus. If you recollect, we were supposed to calculate cost of one bus and cost of 5 buses. The important point was this. In case of cleaner's salary, we must remember that 3,500 per month is paid and he is managing all 5 buses. So the entire 3,500 per month is getting paid for all 5 buses. So 700 per month per bus is his salary, or 3,500 multiplied by 12 into 1 by 5 will be the cost per bus in terms of cleaner's salary. It doesn't happen with driver because you need one driver for each bus, but only for cleaner this was applicable. The important calculation was the first paragraph. To understand the first paragraph, and my first paragraph says this. My first paragraph says this. The bus goes for 8 kilometers, get senior students. Again the bus goes, get junior students. In the afternoon bus goes to drop junior students. Bus comes back and goes back for senior students, and it is coming back and it is parked in garage. So 8 kilometers you have travelled 8 times. 8 kilometers you have travelled 8 times for 25 days, and this has happened for 9 months. Buses are running only for 9 months. 14,400 kilometers per bus per annum is what you are covering. Your diesel cost was given to be 45 per litre. In 1 litre you travel 4 kilometers. 1 litre cost you 45. 1 litre cost you 45. 1 litre takes you 4 kilometers. So basically for 4 kilometers you are spending 45. So 14,400 multiplied by 45 upon 4 per kilometer, or you can say 11.25 per kilometer into 14,400 gives you 1,62,000. That is your answer of diesel cost. Depreciation was again a very simple task. The most important part was this. We were supposed to know average cost per student per bus. Now see, calculating cost per bus and cost for 5 buses was a very easy task. You already have solution, you can go through that. The important part was this. They asked us to find out cost per bus and average cost per student per month. Okay, 3,78,000 was the total cost if I am not wrong, and out of 3,78,000, you must remember this is for 1 year. So for 12 months it is 3,78,000. How much for 1 month? It is 31,500. The biggest blunder students created here was not taking it on monthly basis. The second blunder created by students were they never realized that number of students are 100. 50 junior, 50 seniors. So 100 students are taking advantage of one bus. So 100 students will contribute towards the cost of one bus. Question says out of 100 students, 50% stay within 4 kilometer and balance 50% naturally stay beyond 4 kilometers. So out of 100 total students, 50 students are staying within 4 kilometers. Balance 50 students are staying beyond 4 kilometers. Now those who stay within 4 kilometers are paying half as compared to the other category. So I assumed it to be X. So naturally this was 2X. So 50 into X, 50X is the collection from those who stay within 4 kilometer. 50 into 2X, 100X is the collection from those who stay beyond 4 kilometers. My total collection is 150X, which should be 31,500. I got value of X, which was within 4 kilometers. So beyond 4 kilometers will be 420. Simple. If I would have assumed beyond 4 kilometer as X, that is also fine. So this is 50 students into X, 50 students into 0.5X because half. So this will be 25x, this will be 50x. In my total collection will be 75x instead of 150x. So x will give me 420 directly. X will give me 420 directly, which will be divided by 2. So 420 and 210 will remain same. If you assume within 4 kilometers to be x, you will get 210. If you assume beyond 4 kilometers to be x, you will get 420 as a value of x. You can calculate the other value. If you want, you can copy this working note for your reference. If you need depreciation part, I know you must have done properly, but if you need any help in this, you can copy this one. Copy this. Pause this video, copy this. Yes, and you can also write this calculation if you want. There is no need to go for equivalent production concept which is shown in the study material. I think this is simple. This is a simple way of getting things done. Yes, simpler the better. Get this copied quickly. Okay, done. Now we had second question which was also important. So much of complications. Basically it was about A to B. It was about A to B, which was 300 kilometers. I'm explaining you the question. There was an intermediate station C which was 140 kilometers away from A. That means this distance has to be 160 kilometers, balancing figure. Then they said once you load anything at A, you will be charging 90 rupees per ton, whether it is dropped at C or whether it is taken to B. And once you load anything at B, it will be charged 84, whether it is dropped at C or it is taken to A. So there is no concession given for intermediate delivery of goods. So for the first time you are charging goods on the basis of starting point and not the destination. That's fine. This happened. They asked us to calculate absolute ton kilometers. Absolute ton kilometers is the most accurate way of charging cost to the customer. Absolute ton kilometers is the most accurate basis of charging cost to the customer. Wherever there is a change in the load, you change the journey, you change the calculation, like taking it as X, Y, Z. This is 20 kilometers, I carried 5 tons. This is 30 kilometers, I carried 6 tons. And this is 10 kilometers. This is 10 kilometers where I carried 1 ton. That's it. So if I want to go for absolute ton kilometers, it is 20 into 5, number of tons into number of kilometers, 30 into 6, number of tons into number of kilometers, 10 into 1, number of tons into number of kilometers. So 100, 180 and 10. So 290 ton kilometers is the answer. 20 kilometers with 5 tons, 100, 30 kilometers with 6 ton, 180, 10 kilometers with 1 ton, 10. So 290 is the answer. Absolute ton kilometer is whenever there is a change in the load, you change the calculation. Whenever there is a change in the load, you change the calculation. Had it been commercial, then my calculation would have been different. 20 plus 30 plus 10 kilometers I travelled. Five plus 6 plus 1 upon 3. 60 kilometers into 4. 240 ton kilometers. 20 plus 30, 50 plus 10, 60 kilometers you are carrying on an average. So 4 tons. But sir, answer is not tallying. So who told you the answer should be the same? This is weighted average, this is simple average. The first one is accurate, weighted average. Distance load, distance into load. This is total kilometers multiplied by average load. So this is simple average. Same. So here we were supposed to calculate passenger kilometers. So 12 journeys were there. In first 2 journeys, you started your journey with 6 tons from A. You dropped 2 tons at C. So from A to C, you carried a full load. From A to C, you carried a full load of 6 tons. From A to C, you carried a full load of 6 tons at 6. At C, you unloaded 2 tons. So you were left with 4. So from C to B, you must have traveled 4 tons. Since there is a change in the load, I have to break the journey. Out of 12 trips, twice it has happened that from A to C, you carried 6 tons. You started with 6 tons at A. At C, you unloaded 4 tons. That means from A to C, you were carrying 6 tons with you. You unloaded 2 tons at C. You were left with 4 tons inside the truck. So from C to B, you must have traveled with 4 tons. So A to C, 6 tons. C to B, 4 tons. 140 kilometers with 6 tons, 160 kilometers with 4 tons. They did not mention anything about the balance trips. So balance trips, there was nothing to be mentioned. So all 10 trips, we must have carried 6 tons from A to B. Nothing special was intimated about it. So something normal must have happened. While coming back, 5 trips, you carried 8 tons. Oh, but we were caught by police, but we did not unload anything. Caught by police, we paid fine. That will get reflected in the cost structure. We did not unload anything. So from B to A, all 300 kilometers, 8 tons will be taken into consideration. Balance 7 trips were started with 6 tons. But once you unloaded the entire lot at C, so from B, you started with 6 tons. At C, you unloaded all 6 tons. At C, you unloaded all 6 tons. At C, you unloaded all 6 tons. That means you were left with nothing in the truck. So from C to A, you carried nothing. So C to A, 0 tons. B to C, 6 tons. Balance 6 trips. They did not say anything. So we must have definitely carried full load of 6 tons. You can copy this chart if you want. This is a basic explanation of the whole paragraph that is being given in the question. Pause this video and copy this chart if you want. Wonderful. And now to absolute ton kilometers calculation, you can copy this as well. This is now simple. Tons into kilometers into trips. Finished. That is why that chart is important. Go through that chart, you will be able to understand everything now. So that was about your question number. That was about your question number 2. This was the important part in question number 2. Question number 3 was quite simple. It was about the hotel. 2 important factors. One is how to calculate room rent. For room rent, this was a calculation required to be done. Room days in season, you were occupying 80% for 180 days. In off season, you were occupying 40%. Now, since it is a hill station, there can be a seasonal occupancy. Total room days occupied 21,600 multiplied by 10 gives you attendance wages. Lighting was special. Lighting calculation was special. Please understand this. Lighting cost was not given in the question based on season off season. Lighting cost was first of all given on the basis of winter, non-winter. Now, being a hill station, winter must be during the off season only, no? Being a hill station, winter must be during off season. Off season, okay, in winter occupancy is less, in non-winter in non-winter occupancy will be more. If winter occupancy is less, it must be forming part of the off-season, because when in off-season the occupancy is less. So, look at my calculation. Season 6 months, off-season 6 months. Out of 6 months off-season, winter falls for 4 months, where the charge is 30 rupees per month. The rent was, the charge was also given on per month basis. And we were calculating room days, and we were applying room days as a base. Since day was the base, we couldn't take 30 and 120 later on. We had to change it on per day basis. So out of 6 off-season months, 4 months were winter. 4 months were winter. Correct? 4 months were winter. That means balance 2 months were non-winter. But why are you separating it? Occupancy of season off season is different. So I cannot simply take balancing figure as 8 months. Listen to me carefully. When it is winter, which is forming part of off season, occupancy was 40% for 120 days, 4 months. And since I was getting answer in terms of room days, I applied 30 rupees per month upon 30 days is 1 rupee per room per day. Non-winter falls in 2 categories. Off-season 2 months. So, occupancy of off-season is 40%. Occupancy of off-season is 40%. Occupancy of season is 80%. That is the only reason why I am separating these two. That is the only reason I am separating these two. Is that clear? So, off-season 40 rooms occupied per day, season 80 rooms are occupied per day. Off-season non-winter will be of 2 months, because 4 months is already shifted to winter. So, 120 per month, 30 days you use to calculate per day, and this is what you get. You can copy this note if you want. Lighting charges. This is the simplest way of calculating things or understanding things. Yes guys, after this, hospital was pretty simple. The only extra charge was the 750 extra beds. Now it is a common sense. In a day, 35 beds can be accommodated. If you touch 35 beds, if you reach that level, then you need extra beds. For 150 days, you have touched the maximum limit. So, at the most for 150 days, you will be requiring extra beds. My second occupancy information is of 25 beds for 80 days. So, I don't need extra bed on those 80 days. I may need extra beds only on 150 days, because only on 150 days the capacity has reached to the maximum level. So, each day I can accommodate 5 beds. So, for 150 days, maximum 750, that's what they have said. So, 750 was additional bed days which was also added to the calculation. Now, in the study material, you have this data given. They have also asked you to calculate break-even point. So, you simply split the whole cost structure into 2 parts, variable and fixed. You split the whole cost structure into 2 parts, variable and fixed. Divide your variable cost by total patient days. You will get variable cost per patient day. Remove that much, reduce that from the room charge, the rent, the amount that is being charged. To each patient 2000, you will get contribution per patient day. Take fixed cost divided by contribution per patient day will give you break-even point. All those cost structures which are based on per month, per annum, they will be treated as fixed. But every cost structure related to patients will be a variable in nature. Doctors are paid 250 per month, but boss, they are paid on the basis of patients. They are paid on the basis of patients, so it will also be taken as variable. I checked 10,000 patients. I checked 10,000 patients over a period of 1 year. 120 was paid to me for each patient. So 12 lakhs I am supposed to earn. So instead of telling me 10,000 patients into 120 per patient, they may tell me 12 lakhs divided by 12, 1 lakh per month based on patients. It's one and the same. But it is not a fixed cost. It is based on number of patients. So doctor's remuneration will also be considered as variable cost. Contribution per patient day you get. Fixed cost divided by contribution per unit will directly give you the answer. This was also a very simple calculation. I don't think there is any need to discuss this question number 5. It was quite simple. You get your total cost. Your tax is based on taking. So get total cost, then tax. You will get total cost. This is total cost excluding taxes. This is final total cost, then profit, and then the revenue to be collected. If I assume this to be 100, this is 30, this is expected to be 70. If this is 70 but tax is 20, that means the cost that you calculated in the question solution is 50%. Go for cross multiplication and your answer is done. It was that simple. Have you understood this? Simply go in the reverse direction and finish it off. Simply go in the reverse direction and finish it off. So that was question number 5 for you. 6 and 7, they are not even worth discussing, guys. I'll be going for study material now. Now I know you people have few doubts in terms of study material questions. Let's go for illustration 10, 12.34. Question number 10, 12.34 is the page number. 12.33. BHG Toll Plaza Limited built 60 kilometers long highway and now operates a toll plaza to collect tolls from passing vehicles using the highway. The company has estimated that 12 crore vehicles, only single type is not single way. Single type means only one type of vehicles will travel, 12 crore vehicles for 10 years. So 1.2 crore vehicle per annum. 1.2 vehicles per annum is around 10 lakh vehicles per month. Around 10 lakh vehicles per month. 12 crore for 10 years, 1.2 crores per year divided by 12. 10 lakhs per month. Correct? Okay. Salary? Okay, it's very simple calculation. Simply multiply and then multiply by number of days. 2 into 1 into 750 into 30. 3 into 6 into 450 into 30 because it is per day. 2 into 1 into 900 into 30. Your work is done. Electricity, telephone, maintenance will be charged separately. This one monthly depreciation will also be charged. And 25% profit is needed, no? Okay, see. You have the cost structure with you. They have asked us to calculate cost per kilometers. How many kilometers will be run? 1 crore 94 lakh 80,000 divided by 60 kilometers. The cost is 3,24,666.67 per kilometer. They asked, we gave it. How to calculate toll rate? The profit is 25% over cost, no? So add 25% to this, you will get total revenue. That total revenue needs to be divided by total vehicles. So that's what we did. Simple. Sales divided by 10 lakh vehicles. And 10 lakh vehicle is what? 12 crores for 10 years. So this is 1 year per year divided by 12 per month. So work is done. 10 lakh vehicles. Your second important query was regarding this question number 11. See, there was a teacher whose remuneration was allocated. The teacher was working for certain number of hours and she was paid some amount of money, and The teacher was common for arts and commerce and later commerce and science. So guys, please try to understand one thing. You first calculate cost of teacher. And for getting teacher's cost calculated, you need to understand how much is the time spent by teacher for each stream. Teacher is taking lectures for 1040 hours. That is what the question tells us. That is fine. But out of 1040 hours, 208 belong to 208 time of 208 hours belongs to commerce stream. So total remuneration of teacher will be for 1040 hours. So total remuneration of teacher divided by 1040 hours will give you hourly rate multiplied by 208. 1040 classes. 1040 classes. Total remuneration of teacher divided by 1040 classes will give you the remuneration per class for a teacher. Multiplied by 208 will give you the amount which is to be subtracted from arts and it is to be added to science, added to commerce. Similarly, here in the second calculation, the teacher has taken 1100 hours. So total remuneration of teacher will be divided by 1100 classes. You will get cost per class, which will be multiplied by 160 and that will be subtracted from science and it will be added to commerce. So basically it goes like this. See, this is teacher's remuneration. 35,000 salary multiplied by 12. Now 4,20,000 is paid for 1040 classes. Out of that 208 classes belong to commerce. So 4,20,000 divided by 1040, 403.84 something per class multiplied by 208. That comes to 84,000. So 84,000 is deducted from arts and it is added to commerce. It is added to commerce. Similarly, 4,20,000 is paid to science teacher for 1,100 classes. 61,091 will be deducted from science and it will be added to commerce. So if you see the teacher's remuneration, it goes this way. This is what I have actually paid to these people. I'm just supposed to remove 84,000 from arts, 61,091 from science and it is to be added to commerce. So this is your total wages and this is reapportionment. If the cost is incurred for commerce student on commerce student, let the commerce stream bear the burden. That is one thing. Then your next calculation was about principal salary, which was pretty simple. See, as far as peons are concerned, out of 4 peons, one is totally dedicated to higher secondary, that means arts, science and commerce. Primary and secondary is school level, higher secondary is arts, science and commerce. So out of 4 peons, if one peon is completely dedicated, so out of 4,80,000 which is paid to 4 peons, salary of one peon will be 1,20,000. That will be the total salary for arts, science and commerce collectively. Apart from that, other peons, out of 4, one is completely dedicated to arts, science, commerce. Other 3 are covering all. Even these people are giving 15% services here. So out of 4,80,000, a peon getting salary of 1,20,000 is completely devoted to, out of 4,80,000, a peon getting a salary of 1,20,000 is for higher secondary. That means 3 lakh, peons getting salary of 3,60,000 will be working in all streams. 15% of this, 15% of this, 54,000. 15% of this is 54,000 is also charged to higher secondary. That's what the question says. So I'm going to charge 1,74,000 to higher secondary. So out of 4,80,000, I'm going to charge 1,74,000 to higher secondary, and definitely it has to be on the basis of number of students. That is what they have done. Principal's remuneration. Principal's remuneration will be time spent by the principal for administration. This can be taken as a base. Whatever salary is paid, that is for all 4 categories. You take the total of 4. Total remuneration will be divided by all 4. The total of all 4. You will get per hour rate into Chintu. 208, 312 and 480 will give you the answer. So your principal salary is 14,40,000. Time spent by principal for admin is 208 hours, 312 hours, 480 hours and 1400 hours. So 14,40,000 is getting paid to this fellow for 2,400 hours. 600 is hourly charge. So 208, 312 and 480. 600 per hour into 208, 312 and 480 will be charged here. This is not primary secondary, this is total column. We are asked to calculate only for arts, science, commerce, higher secondary only. Is this part clear? Absolutely. Wonderful. Lab assistant will be charged directly to science team, because for arts and science, for arts and commerce, you don't need lab. So on the basis of students using lab, you can charge it. Library staff will also be charged on the basis of number of students using library. Peons we discussed. Other staff will also be charged on the same basis. So now there is nothing left in this question. This was the only area where generally we get queries from students. Rest everything is self-explanatory. We have total cost here. We have number of students. We got the cost per student here. And that total cost is subtracted from total revenue, total fees, to get the profit or loss figure, which is later on multiplied by number of students to know the total profit or total loss, and that gives me the overall figure. Yeah. Is this part absolutely clear? In the next part, in the last part rather, they have asked us to determine the selling price if you want a profit of 10%. It's pretty simple. You know how much is the cost, right? You know how much is the cost per student. You calculated it here. Cost per student plus 10% profit will give you the revenue to be collected per annum, divided by 12 will give you per month. Simple it is. Cost per student per annum plus profit will give you revenue per student per annum, divided by 12 will give you fees per month. So that was the question we were talking about. Let's get started with one practical question where students generally have doubt. Page number 12.51. Your first question. They have given us total number of vehicles. It's about toll calculation. 110 kilometers is the length of the road. We'll be using it for 25 years. We have been given the cost. Apart from this cost, which is in lakhs, there is one more cost which is in lakhs. So get the total, that will be total cost. And once you get total cost structure, once you get the total cost structure, these are the percentages, these are the weights assigned. 5%, 20%, 30%, 45%. We are supposed to calculate the cost of the project. So the cost which is given to us. Now each year consists of 365 days, 25 years is the time given. So 9125 days will be used as a concession period. 12.67 lakhs, of course, is your cost per day. Question says 15% profit they want. Okay, so 12,67,000 plus 15%, 14,57,050 I need to collect every day. 14,57,050 I need to collect every day. I have different vehicles having different weights. 520, 30, 45. See what I'm doing. 5, 20, 30, 45. You can either go for equivalent production calculation given in the question, or there is one more simple way of doing it. 44, 500 two-wheelers, the coverage is very less. So 2225. 3450 cars into 20% weightage, 690. 1800 into 30%, that comes to 540. And 816 heavy vehicles into 45% weight, 367.2. The total of this is 3822.2 vehicles per day. This is weighted average number of vehicles. So what you can do is this 14,57,050 will be divided by 3822.2 weighted average vehicle. So your average toll will be 381.2071 something. So 14,57,050 divided by 3822.2, 381.2071 something. This is what you have per day. If you have this as total, %5 of this will be 19.06. 20% of this will be 76.24. This is 100%, no? 30% of this will be 114.36, and 45% of this will be 171.54. It's simple, no? You calculate weighted average like this, weighted average vehicles. I have so many vehicles, I'm not interested in that. Weighted average vehicles per day are 3822.2. So cost per vehicle per day is 381.2071 something. If this is a total weighted average cost, 0.05 or other 5%, 20%, 35% and 45% if you apply, you will get this toll to be charged to the customer. So it is that simple. If you want, you can write this down. This calculation, number of vehicles multiplied by number of vehicles multiplied by the weights given, the proportion given, total number of average vehicles per day, 3822.2. So 14,57,050 divided by 3822.2 per day. So that comes to weighted average cost of one vehicle. Okay, so 5% will be, this is what I'm supposed to collect. So 5% will be contributed by two-wheelers, 20% will be contributed by cars, 30% will be contributed by bus, and balance 45% will be contributed by heavy commercial vehicles. So you can simply apply those percentages and get the rate calculated. It is that simple. If you don't want to go for this weight, you can go for even that calculation. I think you know both the methods now. You can follow the method which is given in the study material, that is also fine. If you want my method to be followed, you can go for that method as well. So that was the only area where students generally are facing problem right now. I hope this discussion was of some use. And remember one thing you're just supposed to know: number of passengers into number of kilometers. Number of passengers into number of kilometers into trips into bus into days into month. That's it. This is what you're supposed to do. Instead of passenger, there can be tons. Instead of vehicles, there can be bus, truck, tempo, whatever. Round trip consists of to and fro, so it will be into two. One-way trip is only one-way distance. I think we had discussed everything in the classroom also, and we have discussed now even the study material, the area, the doubt-prone area where generally students have doubt. I hope things are very clear. I wish you all the best for your exam, and I'm sure you will do well. We are always there. Helpline is already active, and we are all always there for you guys. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. All the best. Do well. Take care.